Hey, y'all. This is Frank the Bigfoot, and you're listening to the Paranormal Punchers.
Hey, friends. Welcome to Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Nash.
I'm Dave.
All together again.
Yeah.
The Four Horsemen ride.
And horse ladies.
Yeah, I contemplated introducing myself as I'm here.
Just that's your name? Yeah. I'm here. I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm from the Hollow Earth. Boy, and this is going to be a really fun episode. I just blurted out a nonsensical word.
You did.
I was like,
you just did.
I'm so
It was like a Viking.
It's like I was-
like a
Yeah.
roar. You know, like
or
a
I was like possessed briefly. This will be a fun episode. We're going to talk about the Flatwoods Monster. This is just something that happened in West Virginia. Why are you laughing right away? As soon as I say West Virginia, you crack up.
No, there's a lot of things that just happen in West Virginia.
You know, that is the funny thing.
Yeah.
There is a lot of weird
in West
coming
Virginia.
out of West
Yeah,
Virginia.
I know it. I agree.
And when we get into it, because I have a bunch of questions, and and there's maps, and it's like,
Yep.
how are these things all related? But we'll get there. I think this is going to be super fun. We were at Dave's the other day. This is a funny story I have to tell, because on the last episode we talked about playing D&D.
Yeah.
And his dog just taking a big old pee right in the middle of the session.
Oh, it gets better.
The dog
really?
topped it. Yeah,
Oh,
the dog-
no. Oh, no.
So we were in the middle of a thing. Actually, what was funny is we were right in the middle of would you call it solving a puzzle? And we tried to solve the puzzle with brute strength.
Yeah.
So we walked into this chamber.
Now, typically, that's never the solution to the
No,
puzzle.
it's
No,
not.
no.
But it was actually like seeing the whole team come together,
Yeah.
working together on this. Like, oh, we could do this, and we do this, and this character does this, and this. It was a perfect setup. Like, I mean,
Yeah. So you were watching us, and you were like, "This is like they're like the Avengers."
they're like doing everything right to do the absolute wrong thing.
Yeah, it was definitely my fault. We walked into this chamber. There's like this fish man with like 4 arms. 2 of the arms are holding this box. This
Okay.
little
The
jewel
statue.
box. The is a statue.
Okay.
But there's a roof of acid floating above this
That's
chamber.
The whole roof is like a dome filled with acid.
So is it
And
like
it's just
dripping
floating.
down occasionally?
No, it's just floating.
It's
Okay.
floating.
Yeah, just floating.
Okay.
So ended up, I checked the floor like Indiana Jones. I can't.
Sure.
Nothing's going to happen when I step
Sure.
on a plate.
Sure.
But I ended up tying my rope around the box and gave it to Alicia. Her character Tank is a gigantic fighter.
Yeah.
She could not budge it. But my little thief, I found the gauntlets of strength.
Yep.
So I'm like combined, which reminded me of that scene in Age of Ultron when they're trying to pick up Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Iron Man and War Machine.
Just represent.
They both had their gloves on trying to pull the hammer up.
Yeah.
Her and I are both, tied roped up. We yanked it out, and I felt like victorious. And then
that was your first
And
mistake.
then
That was my first. Yeah, it was definitely the first mistake. Immediately, when I asked if it was locked, he said, "Yes, it's locked." I picked it because
Yeah.
being a
Well,
thief.
you can do that.
No, hold on. As soon as you pulled it out, the statue turned to a live
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
fish man.
That's right.
Oh.
Then I picked the lock.
And your first action, you rolled initiative higher than the fish man. Your first action was,
I'm picking.
I'm opening the thing. Oh, it's locked. Well, I'm picking the lock.
Because I'm a master thief.
Yeah.
right.
And picking the lock brought the acid down on all of us.
Yeah.
I'm a halfling, so I'm like 3 foot, and the acid filled the hall at 4 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how well our. But the funny thing is, so we're having all this, and we're all really engaged in the moment, and then I think you managed to, out of the corner of your eye, catch the dog squatting in the far corner.
Yes.
We all just yell, "No!" The dog, you can see the panic in his face. It's definitely startled by us yelling, and it takes off as it shoots his turd out of its butt. And it was like probably one of the funniest moments. Like it was just funny.
Yeah.
So that was
Nice.
our D&D adventure at Dave's.
Nice. Very nice. poop catapults while you're playing D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While your halfling is submerged in acid.
Yes.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm not. I don't think through the problems.
Well,
The
I don't think any of us do. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You know?
The funny part was they had the key to the box.
Yeah. It was in my pouch. but-
Unfortunately, Alicia was in
Yeah.
the bathroom at that point
I know.
and wasn't like there to stop.
I don't teach you to
him.
get up and go to the bathroom.
I know. I guess I'll just pee my pants
Yeah.
next time. So.
Yeah, but would
Rather
you?
than him
But you can
kill
just
the
do it on the
party.
carpet
Right.
right there. That's
know.
normal over at
I
Dave's
know.
house.
Always a fun time.
Yeah.
If anybody out there plays D&D and you got funny stories like the toot sharding moment. If you have any funny stories from your sessions, let us know. That was pretty funny. That was a fun time.
Yeah.
You know how we do it here. Before we get to our main topic, we always like to say hi to awesome people. So this is listener feedback brought to you by Living Among Bigfoot, the only book series that drops the 15th of every month on Amazon. And as Lish would say, it's good.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can substitute for her in this review.
Yeah. Because for the listeners, you never know that this happens. But sometimes individually, we all sneak away to use the restroom.
Yeah, that's right. Especially after we go to the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And since we were at Mood Duck before we got here,
Uh-huh.
she snuck away.
So
And we just blew up her spot.
Yeah, so I'm going to sub for her and say, it was good.
All right.
That's right. There you go.
We heard from Christina D. She said, love the episode. And I don't say people's last name because I don't know if people want
Good call.
Right.
I think it's a good
so
call.
Christina D. Love the episode. Definitely think a West Coast meetup would be so awesome.
Me too.
Add it to the paranormal checklist. Your Vegas family of listeners.
Oh, yes. That would be fantastic.
I mean, you had David Vegas.
Yeah, definitely.
I bet there's all kinds of stuff in Vegas.
Christina, if we ever do that, absolutely, that would be amazing. Because there's a lot of great stuff out that way.
You bet.
Listeners, Alicia's back.
I'm back.
I'm sorry, we told on you.
Oh.
I subbed for you while you were gone, so not to worry.
Okay,
Not to
good.
worry. On the
Good.
book review.
It was good?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
good. Yeah.
It was good. We heard from Barry. He said, big fan, long-time listener, first-time contacting. After listening to the Black Forest episode, I wanted to know my Opa used to tell me stories of the ghost sacks in the forest. He was the mayor of a small port city in port city of Titty in Germany.
What?
That's what it says. On the coast of the Titty Sea.
Maybe TT?
T-I-T-I.
Yeah, TT. not titty. TT.
C that you mentioned. Just wanted you to know the episode brought back a lot of great memories. Also, do you have any tank tops? And I did reply to Barry. Yes, Barry, go to our TeePublic store. If
Definitely.
you just go to tpublic.com and Google Paranormal Punchers.
Yeah.
You can't Google when you're on TeePublic. Why do I do that?
Oh, it's okay.
Just go to tpublic.com and search Paranormal Punchers, and you can get tank tops. You can get all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, I would definitely advocate it. I'm also a tank top super fanatic. They're there. You just got to pull them up.
Search is the verb. Google is the noun, regardless of how we actually use it.
And I think that's great that...
And TT is the pronoun.
how would you have said if you were trying to read this out loud?
TT.
Okay.
Anything I can do to make you sound a little odd, Mark. Come on.
I do that all by myself.
That's right.
Barry, thank you so much. I love that reminded you of stories that your Opa used to tell you. That makes me feel all the feels in the world. Thank you, Barry.
Like one of the family.
We hear from Meg. She said, hey, guys. And in parentheses, in Mark's voice. So that's for you, Meg. Hey, guys. Just finished listening to the Black Forest episode, and I'm definitely adding this to my list of paranormal places to go in Europe. I just moved to London, England, and I am super stoked to explore all the creepy places in Europe. Most of them are from episodes you covered. So happy I can take you guys wherever I travel. When I miss home, I usually turn on a good PP episode. Just wanted to send you all the love. Send you a little love update email. Keep up the amazing work. # Pudding Skin FW.
That's right, for the win, baby, for the win.
Love you, Meg. Meg, thank you so very much. And it's amazing. When you're homesick, you listen to us.
Aw.
Thank you. And you be safe. Be very safe over there. And let us know the awesome places you explore.
Definitely. That'd be fantastic.
And since you're over there, I wonder how long it would take to get over to the Huska Castle.
Yeah.
From there. Probably a long time.
It's a little bit of a trip from London. Yep, but
It's a lot closer than Pennsylvania.
yeah.
Yeah. It's probably easier to get over there.
Yeah.
I imagine you can get there in a
Then
day or
yeah.
so. I mean, it's just a plane flight or a boat ride and then some driving.
Hey, it sounds so easy, Nash.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
We heard from Bob. He said, Brown Mountain Lights. I just found you guys today and listened to your episode on the Brown Mountain Lights. The best place to see them is from an overlook called Wiseman's View. Why are you staring at the screen? Like I said that wrong, Dave?
No, I can't read that part.
Okay. I lived in the Boone area of North Carolina for years and have driven out there and seen the lights before. It's bizarre. As you suggest in your podcast, I strongly suggest checking it out. The area is amazing.
Cool.
Well, thanks, Bob. And the funny thing is, like, that was episode 2.
Yeah.
I know. That was so
Wow.
long
That was
ago.
just like, it was just me and Dave, and
Yeah.
Lish was just like our
I know.
host. Like, you were like introducing us, and then you would
Yeah.
have facts. You were like, checking it.
I think I was like checking your facts or
Yep.
something like that. Yeah.
so early. And Bob, I hope you stick with us. We got a lot of fun stuff, a lot of crazy stuff, and I think we still tell that to people. No matter what we say, go find out for yourself.
Exactly.
Right.
And I do think we should revisit some of those early episodes and redo them because not necessarily redo them, but revisit them, I guess is the right word. I mean, number one, our dynamic has changed, but number two, I mean, there's a lot more to be said about a lot of these topics.
Yeah, the Outlaw Pass.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh, my God.
definitely
I
would
love
love
that.
to talk about
Yeah.
that again.
Yes. Yep.
And we should probably do something that's
Yeah.
called whatever Revisited.
Yeah.
Yeah, bonus content.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Point 2.
The funny thing is, every episode we're talking about bonus content.
And we never
Like,
do it.
when are we going to have time to fit all this in?
Yeah.
No, the normal content is bonus content, you see, because it's a bonus.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We heard from Jake. He said, hey, guys, it's me again. Love the Tombstone episode, and I thought I would add some clarification. You guys question how a dentist could afford a $1,000 buy-in. While he occasionally practiced dentistry, Doc Holliday has neither a doctorate nor a license to practice, nor a license to practice. His primary occupation was a professional gambler.
So he had the cash.
And I feel maybe I knew that from the movie Tombstone. Did they address
maybe.
that?
Yeah, he had the do-re-mi.
But
that makes sense.
The
that-
dentistry, but yeah, that he was a professional gambler
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
There's far more to explore.
The main thing I remember
Doc Holliday.
from the Tombstone was the PFC. That's the big takeaway that I
We're going to
got.
get T-shirts.
Yeah, definitely.
What was PFC?
The Prostitute Fight Club.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh, that's right. You were in the Hollow Earth for that episode.
Yeah, you were the Hollow Earth.
No, I really wish I was here for that episode. I mean, Tombstone is like one of my favorite movies in the world, and I love the whole concept. And
Oh, that you're like, you guys are talking about prostitutes fighting?
I was like, wow, you're
Like,
really into that,
man,
huh?
I missed that.
That's really cool. Okay.
We heard from Rob.
what goes on in the Hollow Earth, we don't talk about.
That's right.
We heard from Rob all the way from Pea Puncher Nation.
Yes.
He said, episode idea, record one of your D&D sessions, and Nash must play a dwarf with a German accent.
yeah, I could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm pretty sure.
That might not be the right German accent for a dwarf, though.
We walk into this room. You see a statue of a fish man with 4 arms, and he's holding a box of 2 of them. What do you do?
I go say hello. I say, hello, fish man. You are wet. Why are you so wet? I could use your wetness to comb my hair because it is so long and red, and it needs to be combed. It smells.
Rob, maybe we won't do that. Your German accent is
it could be pretty bad.
I honestly think that if that happened, the party would survive.
Yeah, exactly. I would draw all the aggro, and you'd all be fine.
No, what he's saying is that was a smarter move than the move I made. What? Whatever. When the tank and I were working together to pull that out, I felt just like Tony Stark and Rhodey.
The team
that was
together.
really, really good. I mean, you guys did really good on that.
You galvanized.
The look on Lish's face when she came back and she's like, but I had the key.
Right. I was like, you guys didn't ask me.
But I just unlock things. This is my thing.
I'm a master thief.
At this point, he's underwater or under
acid.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, but
It's what I do.
I am
Blah, blah,
so good. Hey, just for everybody listening, I managed to get out of the scenario without dying.
Because Alicia's character picked you up, put her on her shoulder, and carried you
While
through
you melted the whole thing.
Well, when you say it like that, it sounds like I sort of failed and got rescued. I saw it as I was Rocket to her Groot. And as we escaped, I was just going to start shooting. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, my God. We got to move on. We heard from Riku. You know, I legit thought this episode was on Black Forest cake. I got really hungry while listening to it. You guys owe me cake. What's up, Riku?
Yeah.
Hope you're doing all right, buddy. And it was not on cake, but Nash was eating cake while we did the episode. So, if that helps. We heard from Indiana Johnny. And Indiana Johnny, yes, because sometimes we have multiple Johnnies. And so this is a way to distinguish Johnny, because Johnny contributed some of his stories. I don't know if you remember in the past, he talked about taking the Boy Scouts out and getting rocks chucked at them by Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So Johnny's been a long-time contributor to the show. Indiana Johnny. Thank you. He says, okay, I'll try to, I won't be able to do it right. Hey, you guys. Can anybody do it better? He said, in parentheses, said like Sloth from the Goonies. Dave, can you do it better?
No.
Nash, can you do it?
Not on the air, no.
I think you were pretty close.
Yeah, you were right on. You were pretty close.
I tried. I wanted to share something I realized while hearing you talk about your hypothesis about cryptids and caves and the connection. My Bigfoot encounters, along with the largest concentration of the encounters reported to the BFRO in Indiana, are in south central to southwest part of the state, where the ground is riddled with several limestone caves. In fact, the time I heard the Bigfoot howl was in Crawford County near Barango Cave. I think you may have something with there being a connection between cryptids and caves.
Yes.
Yep. I can say
wait
from
to
the
this
Hollow
episode,
Earth that,
Indiana Johnny. The cave's coming back into play.
Yeah. Well, and just from going into the Hollow Earth and back,
There's no other way, really.
there's plenty of things to explore in there.
Yeah.
He also said, I just listened to the Black Forest episode and had a couple things to say. One, you mentioned that the dwarves in the Black Forest sounded more like dwarves from Middle-earth. Tolkien did base the dwarves in his stories on the dwarves of the Norse mythology, which Germany was home to some of the Norse people way back when.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe they do sound like Liz. Who knows?
No, not that one.
No. Okay.
And that's it for listener feedback. We have two more, but I count those as stories from Will and Paige. And we'll read those on the second half.
Okay.
Again, thank you so much. If you want to send feedback, paranormalpunchers@gmail.com, or just go to paranormalpunchers.com. You'll find all of our links. We would love to hear from you. Thank you very much. All right, moving on to the main topic. You guys ready to talk about the Flatwoods Monster?
Yes.
You bet.
Oh, hold on, everybody. I opened up my email for my notes. There was one more shout out. And see if I can read it here. Trying to look at it. The country. Sorry. It's hard to read that. Can you guys read that? The country nerd. Sayan.
That's right. Sayan.
saying, the country nerds saying,
Yes.
Work and Paranormal Punchers podcast almost caught up with it.
And a very nice picture.
Yes.
He could be working at that time. Who knows? But it seems to be in a zone of ecstasy and pleasure listening to the Paranormal Punchers.
Yeah, and sorry for having trouble there. It was like a screenshot, and I was trying to blow it up as we were trying to read it and trying to act like I wasn't trying to read it. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm glad we make your workday better.
I know.
All right, so we're going to talk about the Flatwood Monster. This should be fun. Let me bring up my notes.
That's the pulling up the notes side music right there.
All right. So this went down in September of what, 1952.
Right.
Now, this was about a time period where there was a lot of like UFO sightings happening. This was like the height of like, I don't know, when we started talking about flying saucers and science fiction movies having flying saucers. Man, we were really hyper and like, there's something else out there.
Yeah. Roswell was 47, and this would be 5 years
this is
later.
only a few years later.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feel like, I don't know, they really were probing around our planet around this time period.
Right. Well, I mean, think about it. If you look at how we explore, say, Mars, we're there every so many years. We're not there constantly. We're not, there's not, we're not launching probes or robots or people.
Wait, are you saying that people, if there is life on Mars, are like, man, did you guys see that in the sky last night? It looked like it crashed over there.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. Like, if you're a civilization, you can't afford to be like, oh, well, every month we're launching a, mission to Earth.
Yeah, it's not going to be a continuous effort. It's going to be.
I mean, that's not sustainable in any kind of economy. So the goal is we're going to launch this and this and this and this. We're going to do it over a couple of years, and through that, every mission has a different aspect to it, and so.
Oh man, Dave, we haven't even gotten started, but I really want to explore what you're saying because that makes so much sense.
Right.
But why don't we?
Yeah.
Tell people what the Flatwood Monster is.
Yeah, that's probably
that is absolutely spot on to what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But even
go for it.
Bigger than what I was thinking. This happened. Why do you laugh? Is it the word bigger?
Just how you said bigger. It's just bigger.
Oh my God. That's because we were talking about the TV show Spartacus earlier.
That's right. That's right. Oy, oy, oy.
So the situation that we're going to talk about happened in West Virginia. Not the first weird thing to go down in West Virginia.
Not the last.
Keep in mind, also the Mothman.
Yeah.
West Virginia. We just learned about this. The sheep squatch.
Yep.
And just so everybody knows, sidebar, I did a poll on our Facebook group.
Yep.
Wondering who we should go up against in the next comic book.
Right.
As soon as Gabriel, sorry about that, I guess Gabriel, said about sheep squatch, I was like so fascinated. I found a picture of this jacked up cryptid.
Yeah.
Like he looked like he could go toe to toe with Frank.
Yeah.
And I was like, clearly that's the comic book.
Right.
Yeah.
I won't give any more details outside of that, but the sheep squatch.
Is high on the list.
No, it's going to be.
I think it's going to be the sheep squatch.
So thank you for that information.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is like West Virginia. It's not the first weird thing to pop up. Why is that funny?
Look, I love West Virginia. There's a lot of really cool things there, but the stereotype really does make it easy for laughing at comments like that.
You mean pop up?
A lot of
Not
really
the first weird thing to pop up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that thing.
But take me home, country roads.
Yeah, that's right.
But we're talking about a little town in West Virginia, Braxton County.
Yep.
The town of Flatwoods.
Flatwoods.
Like
yep.
we're this small little community surrounded by the beautiful mountains in West Virginia. This is like literally what John Denver was talking about when he was said, "Take me home, country roads, to the place where I belong."
Whoa.
Yep, I'm gonna get haunted by John Denver tonight for that one.
Yep.
Small little town, mountains everywhere. Well, September 1952. Mm-hmm. Alicia, keep going.
Sure. It was September 12th at like 7:15 p.m. There was two brothers, Edward and Fred May, and their friend Tommy Heyer. They were playing, I think, football in the playground that was in their area, whatever. And they noticed a bright object cross the sky and then land on a farm property of G. Bailey Fisher.
Which was like, from the playground view, would like look like we went down over a hill and landed.
Yeah.
Like, didn't they describe it as like a ball of fire?
It was a ball of fire. It wasn't just like an orb or a light. It was actually a ball of fire.
But didn't it, when it got to that hill for that dude's farm, it's kind of like, but it stopped and then descended.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like an out of control.
Right.
I don't
like
think
a meteor
crashed.
or something like that.
Yeah.
It was a controlled pattern.
Yeah. So, I mean, at that point, the boys were like, what did we just see? I think we just saw a UFO. So they ran to their their home, and their mother was there, Kathleen May. And so the two brothers, their friend, their mother. Are you okay?
You have to pardon while Mark is having an attack right now.
Yikes.
I'm sorry, that went down the wrong pipe.
John Denver's.
The ghost of John Denver is with us right now.
There was a couple other neighbor children that were accompanying them, and a 17-year-old, his name was Eugene, and I think they called him Gene, Eugene Lemon, and he was a West Virginia National Guardsman. And he had a dog with him. So anyway, this whole group, they left the house and they went looking for this object that had landed. And they were like, we saw something. Let's go see if we can find it. So they started walking towards it, and the dog ran ahead of them out of sight and then suddenly started barking at that point. And moments later, it ran back to the group, and it had its tail between its legs. Like, it was freaked out.
Interesting. Here's what I heard.
Okay, go for it.
That when they went up on the hill, there was like this weird mist, and the dog lost its stuff and ran into the mist.
Yeah.
And then turned around.
And then, what do we call and then yelped and came out.
Okay.
Now, this dog was found, and it just took off. It said, I don't care about the kids I were hanging with. But it... vomiting uncontrollably at this house it stopped at.
And then it...
Because there's something to this mist.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it there.
I was going to say, and then I think the dog died shortly after that.
See, I didn't find it. I thought the dog lived. It just...
yeah.
I didn't see that. Yeah, that's terrible.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, so anyway, the story that I found, they walked up to a pulsating ball of fire. And
why would you do that? That exactly what I was saying. Why would you do that? Maybe
the I walk up to that.
They reached the top of the hill, and that's when they saw this ball of fire. Okay. So they, at that point, I think they just detected a pungent mist that made their eyes and nose burn.
Like tear gas almost.
It was kind of like a sulfur-like odor.
Okay.
But it also made everyone just slightly sick at that point. Like, it affected them, like, almost immediately.
Why does everything weird, like, smell?
It has a smell, I know. But they also heard a steady...
That's a topic for another subject, for another day, I think.
Everybody also heard a metallic whining noise that just kept going and going. Okay. So it was almost like a motor running or whatever. But so... the ball of fire was making a noise. It smelled and it was making a noise. Okay.
We should go investigate.
Yeah, let's go check it out.
Close and touch it.
Well, it was at that point that the 17-year-old Gene Lemon, he noticed two small lights that were over to the left of the object, but it was underneath like an oak tree, and so he directed his flashlight towards it. And it was at that point everybody it was revealed the creature that everybody saw.
Right. When the mist kind of cleared a little bit, and you could see the eyes, the dots a little bit better.
Oh, see, what I read is they saw that, the dog freaked out, they got a little panic, turned around.
Oh no,
to split.
Well,
and it's something.
Well, they split, but not before like
they saw this creature, and then the creature. Well, let me just explain what the creature looked like to them.
Good luck explaining what this creature looks like.
Yeah.
Because this is bizarre.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like there's been a couple, like, all of the people that actually saw this creature, each of them had, like, a slightly different.
A little bit different.
Just a little different, but approximately, he was 10 feet tall, had a round blood red face, a large pointed hood-like shape like around his face.
Now, see that what I came across said that it was kind of like some reports said it was like the image from a spade on a card.
Yes.
But upside down.
Yes.
No.
It was pointing side up, pointing straight up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But then I also think like a hooded cobra kind of a thing where the hood comes out on the side.
In looking at the pictures, because I feel like a lot of the witnesses, they actually drew what they saw, and they all were pretty similar, which is kind of interesting.
Except for down the road.
Okay. But anyway, it was almost like, I don't know.
I was thinking upside down heart, the point and how it goes out.
Okay.
But you're right. No, it's the spade without the.
Yeah, it's like a pointy headed shovel, just a point heading up.
Right.
Which is absolutely weird. Why would that be? That's clearly not a really good helmet.
I don't.
But it also looked like it had a. Now, I found that people were saying, now, again, over time, maybe things changed.
Right.
12 to 17 feet.
Almost up to 17 feet. It was like 10, and then I agree. And it came in, and it was like, oh, wait, some people were saying up to 17 feet?
Yeah.
But that was sometime after, and those weren't those other people.
They were other people.
Those weren't the kids and the people who originally saw it when
and the picture is like. It has almost like a skirt for the lower half, and then a chest full of what looks like an armor, and then this weird headdress, and then big, gigantic, fiery eyes. It's very, very strange.
Yeah, the eyes emitted a greenish-orange light, and then, it had a dark black or green body. And the mom, she thought it looked like it had pleats in the body, so almost like it was wearing a dress. Right.
So I initially envisioned like a almost like the body of like a Doctor Who Dalek.
Okay.
Because
is that what you're seeing?
And then up on the top of the Dalek is that spade up on the very top. Because at 17 feet tall, it's got to be conical like the Dalek body. And then you have the eyes and the round head and the whole 9 yards. Now, I don't know about you guys, but some people that I came across said that it didn't have arms. Then some people said it had little mini
claws.
like T-Rex arms or, it was like little teeny tiny arms or no arms, but it was like overall, it was like a suit of armor.
Yeah. So I don't know if it, I mean.
Can I throw this out there right now? Because you mentioned all right. So for everybody, I got a picture up here that I found on the internet. If you guys could remember back just 2 episodes or 3 episodes ago, the Kelly Hopkinsville case. Take that weird floaty alien with the giant bug eyes.
Yep.
With his legs that weren't really doing anything, but he was kind of floaty, and then put his armor on.
Oh.
He's got the skirt covering the legs that do nothing. He's got his armor. He's got his claw hands. He's still got his big glowing bug eyes, but now he's got this headdress.
Right.
Almost. Because that was Kentucky. How close are we? We're like, they still could. It could still be the same aliens.
It could be.
Yep.
That these guys just had their full armor on. In Kentucky, they were butt naked, raising heck.
Right.
What was the time frame on that one? I was in the Hollow.
Was it 52?
Was it the same time period?
I don't know.
I'll tell you what.
Look it up.
If you keep telling everybody about this story,
I
will find it.
Okay.
I will find it.
Oh, my.
So, he shined the flashlight over, saw this creature, and I think they all were just like, what? The creature emitted a shrill hissing noise and then glided towards them before changing direction and then heading off towards the big glowing red light.
With the fireball light?
Yeah, the fireball light.
Okay.
So at this point, obviously the group fled. They were panicking.
Yeah, they were freaked out.
They fled. Yeah.
They took off.
They went. You found it?
1955. But this is all coming back to the initial statement Dave made, where I was like, I think I love your point.
But don't go to theories yet. We still have more facts. Not yet. 'Cause I have a theory that's percolating here.
So they went back to their house in a panic and called the cops. So the cops went out to that area, was looking everywhere for this creature. Honestly, they couldn't find a darn thing.
Well, but it floated though, so you were not really.
Yeah, but like its ball of light landed, so possibly there could have been some. Well, I don't know.
See,
they didn't see any. Go ahead.
I was going to say that what I came across is that they did find tracks, but it turned out that those tracks were from somebody else who followed the ball of fire in their pickup or something like that.
But I heard the National Guard showed up toot sweet, and they were exploring the area, and they had a lot of sulfur.
Right.
It was in the where the supposed landing site was. And they started feeding a lot of BS to people about.
That's what they do.
Right.
They're really good at that.
So over the next several days, that main core group of people, that the kids and the mom, they all saw this creature. They all got really sick. They ended up going to the doctor. They had nausea, swelling of the throat, and they were even having convulsions. And this is all similar to stuff that people experience with mustard gas.
That's what I was just going to say, Agent Orange or mustard gas or something like that.
So they all were experiencing this. Nobody died from it, but they all were really sick, and they think it was from the mist that they all inhaled.
Keep that in your memory.
Okay.
The mist.
The mist.
I got something to bring up.
Okay.
We get into hardcore theories.
Okay. Now, there were also sightings to where now. I don't know what you found, but I think I came across something where there was another sighting later where it was almost identical. What they saw was almost identical, except for the top half. It didn't have the armor thing on there. It was just like a reptilian.
Yes, it was like a reptilian thing.
I saw that too. They had the picture I found on the internet. It was reptilian, but with the same weird spade headdress, the skirt, and the armor chest plate. So, reptilian overlords?
Well, and I have to think this might have been a governmental body for the inner Earth, the Hollow Earth. Dave, do you know anything about this?
No.
Okay. Anything in your
what
history?
Did you say? Did you say governmental body?
Well, I'm thinking this could be like an emissary sent to Earth.
Oh my God! I was about to use the word emissary. So you're telling me these guys probably were sent here?
Oh my gosh, Mark! That was the sound of Mark's head exploding right there.
I was like, I want to talk so much, Nash, with you about that, but I don't know. Listen, we done on the facts of 1952.
Well, okay,
we're about to go. We're about to go into
the rails
space.
Are going to be leaving here any second.
So on that night, there were multiple reports of a strange flying object that was over 100 different locations throughout the United States, Pennsylvania to California. Okay. And there was, at that time, it was definitely Cold War fears.
So hysteria was prime time.
Absolutely. And some of the things that I saw about it is that the government came in and was like, "Oh no, this was nothing. You don't need to worry about this.
Nothing to see here.
No, nothing's here. Nothing happened. Just go on about your business."
There was a lot of disinformation, and they definitely tried to make the witnesses seem like their stories were, fabricated or whatever. Yep. So they were definitely made fun of for the fact. And then, it didn't take very long for them to just kind of stop talking about it,
right?
Because they were
after the government just invented the dildos with the red light, everybody forgot about it.
Right?
Wow.
What?
Okay.
What movie you watching?
Yeah.
Men in Black.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
But I did have a couple other things, and then we can talk about theories and stuff like that, okay?
I think I jumped the gun on
Yeah, might have.
So, about a week before all of this, there was a mom and a daughter that actually encountered a creature that was very similar to this. The daughter was so upset, like she was so mentally scarred by this, that she was in the hospital for 3 weeks.
Right.
Wow.
There was also Gene Lemon, the 17-year-old National Guardsman. His mom actually said that her house shook and the radio went out for 45 minutes around that time.
Right, that the radio went out for quite a while.
Yeah. Like, so something happened at that point.
Yep.
It shook her house. So something
had to come down and do that.
Yeah.
Right.
And
would a spaceship entering an atmosphere shake your house?
I don't know.
I think it would.
It depends.
Well, I'll tell you what though. If so, I used to my mom used to live under a flight path of like out in California, and airplanes at elevation would still shake your windows when they went over.
Oh,
so if something even came any closer than a couple whatever elevation that that commercial flights are going to fly at, oh my gosh, it's going to shake the whole house.
Yeah, but
Right.
okay, but
okay.
I have a whole thing I want to go off on.
Let me just say this one last thing,
exactly.
and then
Like,
you guys can go.
There's so much.
I know.
We're like a bunch of horses in the gates,
know.
you know.
So the next morning after this, so on September 13th, there was a local guy. He's the director of the local board of education. So he's up there. He actually witnessed a saucer taking off, a flying saucer take off.
Okay.
So he saw something the next morning. So I don't know. Did something happen? Did they? What was it?
Right.
I have so many questions for you
Yes.
guys. I would like to throw out just something that was sticking in my head. I remember I told you guys about the mist.
Okay.
Right. So when they're discussing this mist, they're talking about the rancid smell.
Right.
How it is acidic. You know, it kind of burns the skin, makes you
Sure.
feel
Yep.
awful. If you remember the Kelly Hopkinsville episode, in 1970 there was that car, the Nova. Those
Chevy Nova.
the three women that went out to celebrate a birthday.
Right.
And on their way back, they saw this bright light in the sky, and then their car got taken over by said object, and then it filled with smoke that burned their skin.
Okay.
Sounds
Very similar.
Sounds very similar.
Yep.
I just wanted to point that out quick before I forgot it. But I love both of what you made it sound like.
He's pointing to
like we
Dave.
go in pro. I'm pointing to Dave. You made it sound like they are just checking it out, just like we check out Mars every so often.
Yeah.
They're checking out Earth, which is great because I found some people talking about it looking mechanical.
Right.
I thought
Right.
Sentry,
Right.
Scout,
Yeah.
checking out. But when you said emissary, it really explained the really ridiculous look of their outfit.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
our
And the mist.
fancy suit.
Yeah, this is our
so
dress
you know
uniform.
that we're here
Right.
to
Yeah.
maybe talk to you.
And this
Right.
is 1952, right? I got that right?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got it.
I mean, they already sent out their probes, their initial interactions in 47 or other times. I mean, there's reports of World War II there being UFOs. So, the probes, the initial contacts have already been sent out. 52, that's already 5 years after the initial
Right.
thing. So, I mean, look at how we as humans are working with Mars.
Oh, yeah.
We sent out probes, and then we sent out robots, and now we're talking about a manned mission and
Right.
things like that. Not that
You
we
always step it up just a little bit each
we
time.
as humans, we haven't evolved to interstellar, intergalactical travel, but we're still, that's how we're approaching it. Another civilization, even in a different galaxy or whatever, probably wouldn't do things
So
differently.
you think this could be like their rover?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Well, no. I think they sent out all that stuff early. That was what Roswell was. And that this was their first manned mission.
Now, here's one thing that I found that it was described as from one of the kids that saw that night. as mechanical.
Yep.
Yes.
And it had these glowing eyes, and it looked to the sky like the eyes were beaming out, sending.
Oh, gosh.
And as it looked around, scanning. Like, it was using this. So this particular person that witnessed the event, he felt it was mechanical, and it was taking scans of the area, which would lend right back into a rover mission, but from another alien.
Yeah, no, that would make sense.
They talk about there being different races, so of aliens, I mean.
And that's why it looks so maybe weird.
Yeah.
Like,
right, because
we just make weird robots?
It just looks different than what we would do.
Yeah.
You know, go ahead.
Well, and, if that's the case, we haven't really heard a lot about aliens in a actual, definitive sense since the 50s. So everybody calls it the the hysteria of the 40s and 50s of aliens. But if that was the time frame when they sent their probes, they sent their rovers, they sent maybe even a manned mission, but that was the exploratory phase.
Well, what's the next phase?
And again, they found what we are. So imagine we sent out a probe to Alpha Centauri, and we were able to get it there. And we came back and the probe said, there's a ton of life there. What would we do? Would we, within 50 years, say, we're going there?
Right.
Probably not. We would be, we need to figure out, we're going to send more probes in a less conspicuous manner. We're going to, what weapons do we need in case they're hostile? What communication tools do we need to figure out their language? There's a lot of prep. So it would probably be at least 100 years of prep before we would actually go out there.
So that was the first... That was the first recon.
I think that was
getting a sense of the terrain, the technology.
The hysteria of the 40s and 50s was merely the investigative phase, and in the next probably 30 to 40 years, if that was what it was,
everything they learned,
we will start to see more interaction.
Why do you think West Virginia, of all places? Not the Hollywood Hills.
Well,
not Vegas.
Right.
West Virginia.
If you're capable of interstellar travel, you probably know what water is. You don't want to land in water. You're looking for
That's a reference back to Signs?
No.
Is that what you're doing? Swing away, Morgan.
No. Water is the building block of most carbon life. So why would you land in the water unless you're an aquatic?
We had a whole discussion at the bar about Signs.
Yeah.
I thought he was trying to bring it back.
But so you're going to look for the populated land. You're going to look for the hot, humid, sandy parts, the cold, icy parts, or the foresty parts. I realize there's a lot more parts of Earth, but the foresty parts with mountains, it's going to be easy to avoid detection, but still gather information. West Virginia might not be the best of everything, but in all the continents,
I would say the tourist bureau would disagree from that.
You're going to find West Virginia's good. You're going to find spots in Russia that are good. You're going to find spots in China that are good.
Right.
Maybe some in Europe. But these are the spots that are inconspicuous, but
not populated too much.
Right, but able to get information.
And I'm going to say, if you're going to send an emissary down, I see, to go off of what Dave is saying, is that the mist. I'm thinking about the mist, okay?
Okay.
The mist and the fact that there were sightings of these aliens without the mechanical part on the top. So I think of this with the mechanical top as it's a spacesuit. That's all it is. It's a spacesuit. So they're scanning and analyzing while they're out there. The mist is them not quite terraforming, but being able to remove their top and still being able to breathe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when they come out of their emissary,
so they're terraforming just a few feet in front of them.
But
just in the local area there,
so they can deal.
So they can meet one another face to face.
If they're a carbon-based life form that breathes oxygen, which is what we found to be everything that we understand life to be, not saying that's the only thing out there, then they don't need a spacesuit to come here.
Right.
They need a spacesuit for travel. Not
you use the word space, but what if I throw the word inner in front of that word?
That could be. That could be. from your hometown, Dave.
Wait,
Hollow Earth.
Confused me.
From Hollow Earth.
That's not inner space. That's inner
Earth.
planet.
Yeah.
It seemed to.
I just see like the few times when
That's not what you're doing there.
when the mist like was in the car or something like that, they needed to get a controlled environment so they could try out being able to change the environment inside a controlled environment so they could breathe.
Right.
So this was the reason why I think that it was West Virginia. West Virginia is kind of hilly. It's a lot of trees. It's dense trees. So if it's cool, like September, October, November, kind of those months, the air sits. So if you were going to release gas, you wanted to be in a place that's not going to be windy, aka in the forest, in the trees, and you want it to be kind of cool so the environment sits down. So the air sits and the gas sits down and doesn't really move a lot. So that when you do take off your pressurized mask to meet somebody actually face to face, you can still breathe. They still might be able to breathe also. That's the way I see it. Okay. Is that they when they wanted to establish communication with us, that's what they had to do to be able to do that, because they knew we would see this giant monster, this mechanized monster, as a giant robot or whatever, and be a little adverse to that. That's what I'm thinking.
But I don't know. I mean, would you, if you were coming from another planet and you saw us in the post-World War II, pre-Cold War,
That's not what,
going, would you think that we are an advanced civilization that really knew how to fight back?
No, they would think that we're and we're scared of everything.
Yes.
Right.
So you wouldn't think we are dangerous in any way, shape, or form.
Right. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, but no, we already had the nuclear bomb.
But they didn't see that.
They
that
didn't
was
see
47.
That.
How do you know they didn't
47
see it? Maybe they were
here.
watching.
Because if they were
Space.
watching if they were watching our airwaves, they saw stuff from years ago.
And the other...
The first Olympics.
Exactly.
They saw,
See, that's the other part of it is, say they came from Alpha Centauri, depending on, which is the closest star system to us, depending on what they, what technology they have, even if they have light speed travel, I forget what it exactly is, like 40, 50 some years of light speed travel to get here. So they may have seen us in the 1900s and decided to come to Earth knowing there's life here.
Right.
But if they couldn't go light speed and they're from Alpha Centauri, they were like, there's no life here.
They were catching radio waves at best.
Going there.
Yeah, and if they were catching TV, it was like howdy doody.
Exactly.
It was like old school stuff because it takes time. It takes time for those waves to get to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
So they may not even known what they were landing on when they got here.
Right. That's why they never came back.
Yeah. And
Speaking of coming back, we should definitely take a break, man. We've been going at it for a while.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hey, Mark, we're almost out of Moses Family Jerky Snack Sticks.
That's because you keep eating them.
Paranormal Punchers! You must listen to me. We are you from 10 days in the future.
Wait, in 10 days we get to time travel?
Just listen. In 10 days, you run out of snack sticks. This sends Nash on a rampage, setting off a chain reaction leading to the end of the world.
Me? I destroy the world?
There's no time to explain. Just order snack sticks now.
They have 3 great flavors. Original, spicy, and teriyaki.
The portal is closing. We have to go. Order snack sticks. Save the world.
is anyone curious how we learned to time travel in 10 days?
There's no time for that right now, Dave.
Right. We need to hit the road and stockpile snack sticks.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads. Go to mfjerky.com and use promo code SpookyJerky15 to save 15% off your entire order. Moses Family Jerky Snack Sticks. The best snack to pack on your paranormal or normal adventure.
Oh my God. Honey, look, it's Bigfoot.
No way. Let's go say hi. Hey, Mr. Bigfoot, what you reading?
You can call me Frank, and I'm reading the Paranormal Punchers comic book.
Paranormal Punchers?
Yeah, it's about a group of podcasters that get themselves in all kinds of paranormal trouble. It's like Scooby-Doo meets the X-Files, and it's hilarious.
Sounds great. Where can we get a copy?
Just head over to paranormalpunchers.com where you can find a comic book and all kinds of merchandise.
Thanks, Mr. Bigfoot. Have a nice day.
Thanks, you too. Oh, and look out for that bear.
And we're back. Wow. Man, I was absolutely loving the theories we were playing with. We barely talked about the Flatwoods Monster, I feel. I feel like as soon as we introduced him, we went off on our theories, but that's okay because he really only appeared in this time. There's not like any reports nowadays.
Right.
Yeah.
But we did talk about 1976, The Mist. We got the Kentucky Goblins that I think share similarities. And then, Dave dropping the theory about them coming and checking it out. And they might not be back for 20, 30 more years.
Right.
Because they're just collecting this data and they got to decide.
We freaked out their emissary. They took off and said, you know what? Peace out. You guys are done. We don't want to deal with you.
What if that guy, it was his job to do first contact?
That's what I'm saying. He was the first contact guy.
And maybe his ship, something went off course. He landed there. And technically the first contact was a dog.
Right.
Running in the mist, barking.
Yep.
And I think I'd be like, whoa. Because I know how I am with my dog sometimes. She's over in the corner chewing her tail.
Yeah, the alien creature
is clearly not smart on this planet.
could have been trying to make contact with this dog and not doing, and then nothing happened. So he continued on and met these kids, and the kids are all freaked out.
Right.
Yeah. And then the first human that was of a reasoning age, that's when they came across.
It was like 12.
Right. Well, that's when they didn't have the armor on or whatever, and that was a lizard top half.
Yeah.
The alien's like, you're so small. You're so small on this planet.
I mean, you've probably seen the meme, but it does call into question, if aliens landed and they saw a person with a dog.
Right.
So the person picks up the dog's poop.
Right, exactly.
Feeds the dog, gives the dog water, gives the dog attention, and the dog's just there doing whatever it wants. Who's the master and who's the slave?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So I think this dog
so
that ran into the mist ruined it for all of humanity.
The dog is the one ruling this house.
Maybe they left like, nah, we don't want to mess with the dog.
That's good. We're good with these people. No. Let's drill down in the hollow earth. We'll create a little home for ourselves. It's a nice place.
I'm glad they didn't meet a cat first.
Right.
Good gosh.
Well, there were some official explanations
Knock your spaceship into the
of what
hollow
happened
earth.
that night.
Knock your ship off the shelf here.
That is what cats do.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, so there is an official explanation of what happened that night. The kids.
Can I just jump in?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
No. You said, I'm using air quotes, there's an official.
Yeah, official.
So the government's telling people what actually happened.
Well, the Air Force agrees that, yes, this is exactly what they saw, of course. So the kids and the mom, what they witnessed was a barn owl.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
A 10 to 17 foot barn owl.
Yeah.
The Kelly Hopkinsville.
Yes.
They blame that shit on an owl again.
I know.
Let's watch the potty mouth, young man, please.
You pulling a Captain America on me.
That's right. That's exactly
Language.
Language.
Are we gonna?
Is anybody else going to point out that Cap said language?
Anyway, and then the bright light that everybody witnessed in the sky was obviously a meteor.
Yeah, it was a meteor shower.
The Air Force was like, of course, that's exactly what everybody saw.
Right.
So,
because when I see meteors, I see giant flaming balls falling to the earth. Right.
Well, okay.
And then let me just say this, and then you can go for it. Okay. All right.
I'm primed.
They suggested that the witnesses' perceptions were distorted by their heightened state of anxiety. I mean, at that time, everybody was really freaked out.
Yeah.
But then also a lot of the nausea and things like that they were saying was because of overexertion and anxiety. That's where it came from. So,
man, I got to use it at work.
Yeah.
Y'all, can I do that? Can I I'm really stressed out and be like, I feel
I
nauseous.
saw a UFO last night.
I saw a UFO
or a meteor, depending on who.
I need a couple sick days. I think I'm gonna just be at home.
Do you guys buy this whole owl thing?
I don't know.
No, this
I mean, I guess in the dark, there's a possibility they could look very similar, but not like giant size.
Right.
Like, is this giant size owl that's running around?
Well, actually, that would be scary.
Yes.
Owl the size of a human being.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
okay, an owl the size of the human being is 6 feet. An owl the size of what we described is 17 feet.
Yeah.
That's
huge.
Yeah.
That's a giant.
Yeah.
That's 3 times the size of a human being. No.
That's how big they are in the hollow earth, right?
Yeah. There's really nothing on this planet that will fit. Oh, I saw a 17-foot something.
Right.
Other than a tree, but trees typically don't have glowing eyes.
Yeah, and I think what they were saying was the owl was sitting in a tree, so that it looked in the dark. It looked like it was that tall. I don't know.
Yeah, no. I mean,
see, and I just pulled up a great horned owl. Okay, so a great horned owl is one of the biggest owls out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3.2 pounds.
Okay.
Now, granted, if a great horned owl, which is, like I said, one of the biggest ones,
But is it 17 feet?
if it's up in a tree, it's not going to look like eyes. At the size to be 7,
It's going to look like an owl.
It's going to look like an owl on the tree. Yeah, and it doesn't even have the big spade-shaped hood
That is like
thing.
so Men in Black stuff to like zap your face with their, what'd you call it?
dildo with a red.
Oh, no, the neuralizer.
The neuralizer, and then tell you like you just saw an owl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing that really bothers me is the initial contact.
Okay.
So
First contact.
We say that, or the government's explanation is that it was a meteor. Okay, and I mean that totally could be plausible. You know, it was a rock flowing through the Earth's atmosphere.
It happens all the time.
It would,
sure.
you know, it would flame out into a fireball and all that stuff, and that's absolutely fine. But that doesn't disprove that that wasn't the alien ship. I mean, seriously, if you were going to send a thing into Mars's atmosphere, it's going to flame out.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you're sending. It's got to get there, and that's what it's going to do in an atmosphere.
Yeah, it's a meteor. Well, that means it's a rock. Well, okay, maybe they're using rock as their spaceship.
Right, because when they enter the atmosphere, they're going to...
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Now I'm going to ask you, like, do you think every time we see...
a meteor.
Oh, God.
like,
a meteor shower?
It's invasion.
Well, what do you think that when that giant chestnut thing fell, the nut thing that
what
fell?
What year was that? It was the same time period.
I'm telling you, when that thing fell,
they
what
were
did it
doing
look
a
like?
massive probe of our planet.
Well, and
not just
that's
the cows.
The thing is, like, to me, it's either everything was a complete hoax, but when you have so many reports from so many different people in so many different ways in the same time period, it's not a hoax. It's these are all different attempts to, gather evidence. And they're using that evidence to determine what is on Earth and whether they should visit us.
They're just doing recon work, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think any of these aliens are bad. I mean, the sulfur thing, that's probably just a result of the chemicals that they use for their propulsion, the chemicals they use for to retard the whole atmospheric heat,
so they can survive on our planet.
Exactly. I mean, there's all kinds of things that sulfur is. There's theories out there that if things aren't carbon based, that they're going to be sulfur based, because sulfur based is what could survive on our the moon on Saturn.
Io?
No, I forgot the name of it. We've been there, but anyways,
New Jersey.
I'll think of it.
We've been there.
Yeah. We sent the probe there, and there's a lot of sulfur. There's and anyways, it so. All these things make sense that it could be an alien race.
Yeah.
And in the and this was like September 1952 when the Flatwoods Monster, but in 1950, leading up to obviously 52, but there was a lot of reports of that. There was a lot of UFO sightings in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Ohio.
Yeah,
sure.
Years before the Flatwoods Monster. So maybe it was not an invasion, but it was a massive probe.
They're trying to reach out. They're trying to reach to us.
Studying.
Yes, they're doing recon, taking intel.
It was a 5-year mission. To
like Gilligan's Island?
Well, 1965 is when the
5-year mission to probe the Earth.
To probe the Earth and all of its cows and people.
1965 is when the Kecksburg acorn-shaped UFO landed.
But I'm just saying, when it came in through our atmosphere, it was a giant fiery ball of something or other coming down.
That was shaped like an acorn. But one of the things I found about the ship, the Flatwoods Monster, is they referred to as like egg-shaped.
Really?
Well, that kind of looks like an acorn, right?
Yeah.
Well, and look at what we've done with, we're sending probes. We're sending satellites. We're sending robots. The shape of the device that we send those things to those planets is completely different than if we were sending humans.
Right. Right.
If we're sending life to another planet, it's going to be a totally different thing.
Do you think? All right, so we're sending these our robots out like you just described.
Yeah.
Do you think there's life on these planets that are pooping their pants the same way they did in 1952 in West Virginia? So hypothetically, we send a probe.
Yeah.
To another planet, and they see it as like, what is
I'm
that?
going to agree with Dave. I say no because I don't believe that in our solar system the life is evolved to where they would respond that way.
Or life is alive. Like, I mean, Mars could have supported this, but it would have been pre-generational to anything that we have on Earth.
Right.
But Alpha Centauri there's plenty of other galaxies that could have survived.
But right now, as we get better, someday we could send the rover.
We're going to figure out eventually
to a planet where they would be like, oh my God, they would end up having their own Flatwoods Monster story because we were just exploring.
Yes. And think about it. Imagine that humans figured out light speed travel or close to light speed travel or whatever. We're going to be like, okay,
we'll make the Kessel Run.
We're sending
14 parsecs.
Well, but the first thing is going to be
what I would do with it.
We figured out in a foreseeable future how to send a probe to Alpha Centauri. Within 5 years, we're going to be like, we figured out how to send a rover to Alpha Centauri.
So that's how we do with Mars.
10 years or 15 years, it's we're going to send a spacecraft. It won't hold humans, but it would be capable of sending humans. We're going to send it to Alpha Centauri. And in 25 years, humans are going there.
Yeah, it's going to step up every single time.
We're going to step it up. And so in that time, like, we've got probes. Well, we're not going to send one probe. We're going to send 5 probes or 10 probes. And then, we got robots. Well, let's send 3 of those or 10 of those. That's how we explore.
What you are saying is the same thing that has happened to planet Earth.
We're going to be doing that.
We're going to do that to another race.
Totally.
So we are causing the exact same stories.
Maybe
somewhere in the future to another.
But if they were a civilization that was used to this concept, imagine
we would just look like chuckleheads once we showed up.
No. But imagine that we were already sending things out to other solar systems. We see these things arrive. It wouldn't be a UFO. It would be that. We're used to it. We're expecting it. We're those types of things. But
do you think
we don't know that there is any life out there, let alone intelligent life that can send things over the speed of light. But if we're not first in this universe, and even if we are, even if there are things that are first, who's to say they're pointing at at our galaxy and our planet, let alone anything else? So, we found something that's coming to our planet. We send to those planets. If they're sending things out, they won't be surprised. But if they're not expecting us, if they haven't reached that, the Star Trek First Contact. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If they haven't reached that level, they're going to be completely surprised.
Do you think it's possible?
There's a podcast on that planet just like this.
It's all clicks and whistles and hums, and they're talking about aliens, us.
Do you think it's possible that over time with our technology, that maybe we are those aliens, reach out to a planet that isn't quite ready to see our technology.
Sure.
And they're telling our stories. They're telling the same stories we're talking about right now.
Right.
I think within 100 years...
I mean, that's amazing. I love that concept so much.
Within 100 years, we're going to be able to get to other planets that aren't in our galaxy.
Because we have the Millennium Falcon?
Because we have a progression of technology. Humans are accelerating
That's right.
on their knowledge.
And we're going to need to do medical research on the inhabitants of that planet.
Oh, Lord.
So
But there may
their
not be-
cows and their
we may
people,
not
we're going to
find
start
life
probing.
in that 100 years. I'm not going
You're
to say...
telling me if we landed on a planet, we would immediately try to probe their...
We need to find out what they breathe, what their biology is like.
Yeah.
We gotta do some dissections, baby.
Okay.
Why would you
hold
do
on.
that kind of...
I'm telling you, it's probes and cows. We gotta do
You
that to
love
them.
Star Trek. Captain Kirk never probed...
Yeah.
That's not, that's not true.
he did.
That's not
yes, he did.
Wow.
I mean, the Federation never set out to...
Yes.
Because it was all after that.
Captain Kirk definitely set out to probe.
Yeah, he was probing all over
Can
the
we
place.
not start an intergalactic war because we want to probe the life that we just found?
I just proven that I'm never going to be a captain of a starship. That's all.
So, human exploration is on the assumption that we're not going to find life anywhere else.
Correct.
We're going to go to those places not expecting life, but
Hoping to find it, though.
hoping to find it,
but not
and
expecting
being prepared that if we do find it, how to protect ourselves against it, because they could be
Probes.
hostile, they could have diseases, they could have blah, 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 blah. There could be a ton of different things going on there. I don't think, as much as humans are warlike, and we'll get into human psychology later, but the whole thing, we're not out there.
Psychology punchers.
Yeah, we're not
Our new podcast.
We're not out there to kill whatever we find. We're out there to explore because we love exploration. That's part of the human nature.
That's right.
And if we find something, we're going to try our best to interact with it and work with it. But if it fights back, our human resolve,
we'll have to figure something out.
You know, there will be a Michael Bay movie about it sometime.
Game over, man.
So yeah, it just we're not out there to destroy life on other planets, but that what we're seeing here in this event is exactly how humans would do the same for other
That's right.
galaxies.
That's exactly right.
That's my final
Exactly
thoughts.
right. And get the lubricants out so we can probe.
Oh, boy. Nash.
We're not ending with
Yeah.
that statement, that's for sure. Wow. I had no idea when I showed up at the pub today to greet my friends that we would go, that our discussion would go this way, but I actually think it's amazing. I think we
Yeah.
hit on something. I think the government's coming for us.
You think so?
After this episode.
You think so?
Because they're definitely like, shit, they cracked it.
Nope, that's only based on the number of likes we get.
Yeah.
5-star reviews will get the government.
They're
out.
coming for us. That's
You want
right.
the NSA to get us? 5-star review then.
That's right. That's right.
What if we did crack it? What if the government's like, son of a gun?
Well, no, but honestly, if they didn't think that we were getting it out there, they wouldn't do anything about it. But if they thought that,
We're like Woody Harrelson
Yeah.
in 2012 when he was getting out. Yeah.
yeah, if they thought we had a message that people were listening to, which I think we have a really great fan base that
We
would
do.
send that out,
Global.
then we're going to be recording the next one from some penitentiary that's under some mountains.
Underground.
I can't believe we didn't even go to the Hollow Earth is sending out these probes.
Right. Well, we don't know
And we
where
didn't
the
need to, because
source.
that, to me, was like 100% accurate to what the 1952 Flatwoods Monsters. Yeah.
The Hollow
We're
Earth,
spot on.
I can tell you, the Hollow Earth does not have space technology.
No.
No, I mean, we have goblin hordes.
It's a little more earthy. It's
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
more down to earth, you know.
Yeah, you want to invade some other country.
It is the Middle Earth.
It is.
Talk
It's
to
right.
the Hollow Earth. But
Yeah, that's
boy.
right. That's right.
Wow. I don't know. What do you got? What does everybody listening think? I mean, I really like the theory that, they were just checking us out. And maybe someday we're going to do the same thing to another
That's right.
They're just
Another planet.
Yeah.
where we're just checking things out and they see it and they come up with I mean, hopefully we dress better than the Flatwoods Monster, because that outfit is, look it up, Google it. That outfit is jank.
But it could be an armor.
Is that even a cool word,
well.
jank? I don't even know.
That's what I see. Is that it could be an armor. That's why I see it's like a spacesuit kind of a thing.
Well, and our best fashion. Imagine you go to some other solar system.
Oh boy, yeah.
And land there.
We'd show up there and they'd be like, "Yo,
our best fashion
check out these outfits."
What they were hoping for. We change fashion every few years.
Not if we look back to the 80s.
Yeah.
We cycle back.
The 80s was fun.
Generally.
That was a good time.
Showing up in acid wash jeans.
Oh yeah,
and a red leather jacket,
mesh tank tops.
Ooh, or we can go full on Eddie Murphy. With the red leather,
leather.
Oh my God,
leather
we showed
gloves,
up
the whole
looking
night.
like that.
Yeah, see.
But I'm pretty sure that a T-shirt with a flannel over top and jeans.
Oh, so we show up looking
that's
like
universal.
Oh, you're a Pearl Jam. That's where you're. That's where you're going. You're going to Pearl Jam. I'm going, a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to investigate another planet dressed like Eddie Vedder. I think I would go Eddie Murphy.
Yeah,
with the red leather.
I'm pretty sure
awesome.
we're going to go in spacesuits so that we can breathe.
But now, see, what I would say to bring it up is
True
we don't
story
know.
right there.
The
But like in Star Trek, they'd be like, we have to look like that.
Yeah, we still have to look official.
We're in our formal spacesuits.
Yeah,
That was the formal spacesuit.
that's
that
what I'm
weird.
saying. Whether it doesn't
headdress
matter
and the
where the
skirt.
source that the emissary came from. That's unknown. Whether it was Hollow Earth or from space, either way, it was still an emissary.
There's no
trying to
space
do-
people from Hollow Earth.
Well, they couldn't.
We don't have space technology.
But they still, the atmosphere is different. The gravity is different.
Yeah, we haven't figured out how to conquer it.
See, that's why you got to flood it with your methane sulfur gas
Oh boy.
so you can breathe. Because there's a lot of gas down underneath there. It doesn't vent.
That
It's
is
all
one
methane
thing I
and
wanted to
sulfur.
point out, that I'm pretty sure that none of the sicknesses that were reported from any of these landings were caused as a harmful, like we're intending as an
assistant of Hollow Earth. Nice.
But
Yeah, what's going on here, dude?
Are you trying to tell us something?
But no, I don't. I think it was
They were on the
It was
agenda.
a consequence of the landing. It wasn't intentional to harm the humans. Like, number one, I don't think they understood that humans or life existed where they were landing, and that when they did, it was
Why,
like,
'cause
well,
West
there's
Virginia?
no, like
Intelligent
any
life.
life.
They
Like,
thought they were picking the mountains like,
Nobody's here.
Exactly.
Nobody's here.
and that when they landed, it was like, oh, well, there is somebody there. Well, we can't do anything about it, but we don't even know what life form they are. There's tons. I think that in the universe, there's going to be a lot of different life forms: carbon-based, sulfur-based.
What if John Denver wrote that song about what if that was Take Me Home, Country Roads?
What if
place
he
where I
was
belong,
an
West
alien?
Virginia? What if the aliens just want to go to West Virginia?
What if he was an alien? He's just trying to get home.
He already.
What if he was talking about the Hollow Earth?
That's what I'm
Those are
saying.
the country roads.
And there's an entrance at the Hollow Earth in West Virginia. But the only way we would accept something from the Hollow Earth is if we even remotely saw it coming from space.
So, in this area of West Virginia, we have the Flatwoods Monster, we have the Mothman, we have the sheep squatch.
Yep.
We have not too far down the road the Kentucky Goblins. Like this area,
Optimus
hotbed.
Prime.
That's right.
We should move because Pennsylvania's kind of weak on all this.
All we have in Arizona is the Mogollon
know.
Monster, and snakes. So that's all we have out there.
Well,
I was going to
Might
say
have to be
Pennsylvania's pretty crazy with some of the stuff that goes on in this state, but
not like West Virginia.
no, I think it might win.
Yeah,
It's
they
number
take
one.
the cake.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
Woo, man. I don't know. I had no idea today when I hit the record button
That's
that
right.
this was going to happen. This was amazing. I hope everybody listening enjoyed the heck out of this. And if we prompted you with ideas and theories and conspiracy theories,
Think about it.
Yeah.
Send them in.
let us know.
That's right.
Hit us up.
And honestly, if you have hate about any of this stuff, send it in. Like, we would love to
Unless you're fat chuddy.
talk
right.
about your hate.
That's all right. We already... you already told us what you think about us. buddy.
Another broadcast.
yeah.
Well, we're gonna switch gears after that. That was amazing, Dave. You brought it. Nash, I love the emissary theory.
That's right. See?
That's great. Liz, thank you for being the only sane one.
Being the only one reasonable in the group here.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So we got a couple stories from our amazing listeners from all over the world. Liz, you're gonna take one from
Paige. Okay.
What's up, Paige?
All right. You want me to go? All right.
Do it.
All right. I do have a spooky haunted hotel story of my own, though. I know before I told you a funny one from when I was in St. Louis, but this one is real.
Interject if you guys remember.
That didn't take long.
I should remind everybody.
That was only one sentence in, Mark.
Paige had the story where she ran into like an old dude that didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys remember that
Yeah, I
from
remember
like
that.
10 episodes ago? Mm-hmm. I just want to remind everybody.
No, I was hoping actually you would because I was like, I'm pretty sure
Thank
that's
you.
the one.
Yeah.
But
Thank you, Alicia, Dave, whatever. But it's Paige time.
All right. When I was a teenager, my mom took me to York, England. It's a very haunted city, and we did the ghost tour one night. It was after dark, which was late because it was summer, and we walk into the lobby. There's this tall, white-haired old man in a dinner jacket. Those are the white tuxedo jackets behind the desk. I knew the property was historic, so I asked if it's haunted. After all those ghost stories and being a teenager, I was eager for a little more adventure. Well, the old man tells me in his deep, gravelly voice about how he had worked here for decades and the property used to be a hospital. He worked the night shift and only saw something once in all those years. He said he saw a woman all in black with a black shawl on her head walk right through the lobby and through another wall. She didn't come in or out any doors. Then he told me, but it's not the dead you have to fear, girl. It's the living. I can tell you, Scout's honor, I have never forgotten that. The way he said it, what he said, it was like something out of a movie. Well, we went back to our rooms, and I don't know if it was all the ghost stories or what the old man in his warning said, but I was super creeped out. I just felt like there was some energy there and around us. It really unsettled me. I asked my mom to put a chair under the doorknob, and we kept the TV on. I didn't really sleep, though. I've slept in and visited quite a few haunted places, but that hotel in York, that was something else. I have never in my life had such a disturbed sleep or that feeling of just something around you, but not really manifesting into anything. The next day, I casually asked staff about the old man in the reception. They said they didn't have anyone that worked there like that, and nobody wore a dinner jacket. I tried to find it. My mom thinks it was called the Ambassador, but I'm wondering if it's been so long, 20 years, it might be something else now. It was in City Center. Maybe some of your international audience might know it. So I guess that's my second haunted hotel story for you, but this time with a real ghost. Hope you like it.
Thanks, Paige.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh. That would be terrifying.
Right?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I really want an experience like that, but it also sounds like it will stick with you.
Yeah, it might stick with you for like the rest of your life.
It's something that you're just kind of gotta keep asking questions like I don't understand.
Right.
And you can't get out of your head. And, well, Paige, I mean, hopefully you can get out of your head, but yeah, I don't know.
Wow. Holy moly. God, that would be absolutely terrifying. No, I don't want to go to any hotels ever again. Oh, my gosh.
Well, we're going to Center City, not City Center. We're going to Center City, Philadelphia for the Comic-Con. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure the hotel we're staying at is not going to be haunted.
No, I don't think it is.
It's going to be the Hampton.
Newish,
It's pretty swanky.
Right.
Not really swanky, but it's right next to the convention center.
That's what they want you to think.
That's right.
That it's not haunted.
That's what they want you to think.
Oh, boy.
Oh, great. Thanks, Dave. I tell you, when we stayed at Gettysburg at the 1863 Battlefield Inn, we had this thing. Now, Lish and I got married in Gettysburg because it's a great town.
It is.
Obviously, if you're if you live in the United States, you know that the Civil War, and that was like huge in the a huge battle that turned the tide. Mm-hmm. So this town has such intense history.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But it's got such amazing people today that are there with great shops. Mm-hmm. And it's just a great place to go. And we always meet amazing people. But that night in the 1863 Battlefield Hotel, not a plug, unless they want to be a sponsor.
Be more than happy to have.
I tell you, I woke up, we did a ghost tour, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and they were talking about on the backside of this hotel that people have seen spirits and heard, noises that sound like kind of a battle going on. But I woke up in the middle of the night, and I heard there was something in the bathroom.
Oh, no.
I wasn't sure if it was my imagination, most likely my imagination, but I felt like a presence. To the point, the only thing I could do is I rolled over and spoon the absolute crap out of Alicia because I just thought I need to hold on because something's over there in the corner.
So is this another scenario where you're offering your wife up to the spectral force that was trying to go after you?
No, I was not offering her.
Because it sounds like she was involved again.
I rolled over
to protect you.
I rolled over and held her. But I think what I needed was, I felt like I needed to be extremely grounded.
Yeah.
And I need to hold on to the one thing I love most to let this thing know that, no, go away.
Okay.
You can't get me.
Okay.
Because I'm connected to this strong-ass badass that will kick your ass. But she was sleeping, so she didn't know anything.
I was like, who are you talking about?
Talking about you. Yeah. Oh, come on.
This beacon of hope and love in the universe, right? That's right.
But it made me feel better, and whatever was there went away. But it was weird. I think I told you the next day that, hey, here's what happened last night. It was really bizarre. But, yeah. So, yeah, sometimes these hotels got things lingering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's my experience. You can call it BS on it. I don't care. But I found safety in your arms, honey.
Oh.
Yeah, got a little cheesy for the show, didn't it?
Just a skosh.
And we got one more story from our pal Will. He says, hey, guys, it's Will again. First off, you guys are still awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope we never get an email
saying you guys suck.
Yeah.
Hey, Will, thanks.
You were awesome.
You used to be really good.
Yeah,
now
you're terrible.
You're really gone downhill.
He says, also, I realize why I like Nash's theory so much. It's because I had the same connection with food.
See? All right on.
You didn't talk about food at all this time, did you?
No.
No, I didn't.
Shame.
I can, though.
Shame. She reminds me of Game of Thrones. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's why I said it.
But Will dropped us a little story here. I'll try to summarize it. But he goes to college, to Missouri State Technical College. He's a welding major, and he has some friends, and they love the fish. And he's got a couple buddies that bow fish. Something I actually have always thought about because I'm was really into archery when I was a kid, and as a teenager, and I don't care what anybody says. Green Arrow was always one of my favorite DC characters.
Oy vey.
It was. Hey, come on!
gosh.
Everybody loved Batman. I love the Green Arrow.
Oh boy,
Dave, you can relate. You like Hawkeye. He's like
Hawkeye.
the same character.
they're terrible.
Why? Because they can shoot really well.
No, that's great that they can shoot really well. It's a comic book about a guy with a bow and arrow.
I don't know a lot of Green Arrow, but from what I get from the TV show, he's not nearly the cynical comic relief that Hawkeye is. But I could be wrong.
No, you're 100% right.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're right.
Because one's DC, one's Marvel.
Yeah.
Right,
Different
right.
characters,
Yep.
but they both shoot a bow.
Hawkeye's speech in Age of Ultron to Scarlet Witch was spot on, like perfect snark versus antagonizing and at the same time motivating. Like that was perfect. But I don't know about Green Arrow.
He was the guy with the beard and the mustache, right?
Yeah, Oliver Queen.
Oliver Queen.
He
He had the little green hat that he always wore with the feather in it and whatnot.
Again, the time period of the comic books, he was more about taking down the fat cats. He didn't like, the rich people, controlling and
Which is funny because he's rich, right?
Well, that gave him the ability to have all his gear, but also realize that fighting for the little guy is way more important than making money.
And he hung out with the Siren?
That's why Green Arrow
the Banshee. Did he hang out with Banshee or Siren? Or Black Canary?
Yes.
Black Canary.
His main squeeze, Black Canary.
Yeah, that's it. I knew it was one of those.
But that's not what Will's story is about.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I just wanted to mention I love shooting bow, too.
Oh, I did have a question for Will before we dive into it. How does he account for the bending of light when you're bow fishing? That's my question. So when you're shooting at a fish with a bow,
right? That's the most difficult part.
It's not linear. How that would be a good question.
You didn't let him get through the story. Maybe
it's okay.
It has nothing to do with that. There's no. That's a skill. You got to learn. You got to learn how to.
That's my question.
Where you aim.
Yeah, exactly right. Where do you aim when the light bends? That's crazy.
Either way,
anyway,
he had some friends that wanted to do some bow fishing. They took him to this bridge that they referred to as a haunted bridge.
Okay.
So when they're there, when they're at the bridge, when these guys are laughing and nodding at each other, it's really distracting.
So anyway,
but they went to this bridge. So as they're hanging out doing some fishing, it sounds like somebody's below the bridge clapping.
Ooh.
And then at times throwing rocks, hitting the bottom of the bridge that they're standing on. Yeah.
Okay.
Now he did say that maybe it's just the bridge cooling down after a really hot summer day.
Okay. Yeah.
But
the expansion and contraction of the metals of the woods. Sure.
But they were there. It was a little creepy. I don't know if you guys ever experienced it. It sounds like somebody's below a bridge clapping like that.
No.
But they didn't discover anything. They got a couple gar.
Nice. That's fantastic. Those things can get really, really big.
No, they didn't. They saw a couple gar. They didn't get anything.
Oh, okay.
Those are really cool looking creatures.
And he just thought we might enjoy a story about a bridge where it sounds like somebody's below you clapping their hands.
That's weird. Yeah. But there was nobody. Like they didn't.
Yeah.
No.
They didn't. Okay.
Nope.
Wow.
Nope. No. Nobody was down there.
Well, I would say thank goodness, because why would you antagonize a group of hunters or fishers that have armed who are
trolls?
Troll. Yeah, you can.
That's what a troll does.
He claps his hands and throws rocks.
Well, until it comes up onto the bridge and eats you because you don't have a fire weapon.
But these guys are hunters.
So we should always be armed with a bow?
A fire weapon. You need a fire weapon on a troll.
I don't know. My character in D&D, my bow is, I'm OP. I'm
OP?
definitely overpowered.
But you don't have a fire weapon. You need fire.
Are you telling me something for the next...
Are you letting out a hint for the next adventure?
If you want to leave bodies of trolls that come up and eat you, then...
I thought it was fire or sunlight. I thought either one of them worked.
I can't have a sunlight arrow.
No, but I thought if you lure them into the
really
sun.
Cool.
Ooh. Can you roll one into the adventure? I find, like, arrows of sun.
Oh.
You need arrows of something else before you get arrows of sun.
What are you trying to tell me?
Oh, maybe for the next episode.
Well, I don't know. I got holy water. I was thinking about dousing the arrows in holy water.
Yeah, but those were actors. They're not.
They're not actually vampires.
Either way,
so.
I was going to.
But I'm glad you grabbed it because I think it might come into play later.
Because if they were real vampires, the challenge rating on those would have really murdered you.
Okay.
We would have died. Okay.
We all would have been dead.
Well, Will didn't have an issue, but he thought it was extremely weird, and we might find that very interesting.
Oh, it's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
He said, I thought you guys might enjoy the story. Keep up the good work. I look forward to every new podcast, and I love them all.
Yay.
Nice.
Will, I love everything you send us. Thank you for sharing your stories.
Definitely.
I feel like at this point, you're sharing your adventures in life with us, and thank you so very much.
Seriously, I want to go to that bridge with the sword from Game of Thrones that, like, turns onto flame and, like, fight the trolls.
If you were like, of course you would.
Why wouldn't I? I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean,
no, I would 100%. I would love to have to spark up my sword and fight some alien invaders or some trolls or whatever.
Would that be like
I'm down.
You think it'd be a troll, or you think it'd be like the Poplik guy with the goat legs and the head with a big axe?
Well, he hasn't mentioned that. So
do you know what I mean? I'm just thinking of what the troll would be like. A true troll, like throwing rocks and or would it be?
That sounds like a troll, not a Poplik.
Yeah, the Poplik could be there, but
so so you're saying it could be the trolls down there like
because
hey, getting their attention, chucking some rocks.
Right.
If they go to investigate, they eat them.
They look over the bridge and it's immediately like,
but
grabs them by the head and pulls them down.
Never seen again.
Yeah. But the Poplik was underneath the bridge also, wasn't?
I think it was on the bridge, too.
I thought it was on the bridge.
Or was it a train track or something like that?
It was a train track. It was a train track bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on the actual bridge.
Yep.
But was it also underneath?
I think it was underneath.
Can't remember.
I don't know.
Maybe there's more of them.
Yeah.
We should re-listen to these
There might be a
episodes here
couple.
before we go.
I know. We got to do like so many revisited episodes.
Right, exactly.
I can't thank everybody enough. Nash, you going to say something?
No, I was going to say thanks, Will.
Yeah, thanks, Will. Thank you so much for sending us your stories, your feedback. Thank you for listening. You are the reason we love to do this show.
Yep.
Yes.
And also beers.
That helps.
We are working on issue 2 of the comic book. So excited. I know it took a long time.
I know.
But we had some really fun stuff. And I'm going to tell you, I can't even explain how awesome it would be to see this sheep squatch go up against that. Could be a cryptid from a place called Point Pleasant might make an appearance. I think it is going to be amazing.
Yes.
It's probably going to take us a while to get it done.
I know.
But I'm really excited.
But it's in the works. That's all that matters.
Lish, anything else say to everybody?
No.
That seems like a lie.
worn
That's
out.
a lie.
No, wow.
I don't have anything else to say. I'm sorry. We covered everything, right?
All right. Nash.
To further Dave's thought, if we're sending out, probes and whatnot, I just wanted to say, let's go get them.
Yeah.
Let's show up in our suits, and let's get the probes ready because here we come.
Yeah.
All right. Dave.
So nothing else on the current topic, but I do want to say that next podcast will be after Game of Thrones with the big Night King battle.
Oh my God.
So I am
50 minutes of a battle.
I am going to have so much to say about all the poor characters who don't survive.
No. Don't spoil that for people.
That'll be like 2 weeks from now.
It'll be 2 weeks from now, and then it'll drop like another 3 days after we record it. So honestly, if they haven't made it by then, they don't.
I don't know. That's not fair.
Well, I need to talk about this somewhere. It's my therapy,
Okay.
This is your Game of Thrones minute.
So, if anybody's listening that really cares about Game of Thrones and can't watch it in the next few weeks, don't listen to our podcast.
Yeah, spoiler
for at
alert.
least another episode.
That's right.
Yeah.
I got spoilers for you. Aliens have been here, and they're coming again.
And they're coming back.
But this time, we'll be ready.
That's right.
Lish, if it's not weird,
It's not worth checking out.